Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the WellMed Charitable Foundation Caregiver Teleconnection. We're so happy you've joined us today. We have a presentation from the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, and it is given by Justin Russo, who has been here before and did such a brilliant job that we invited him back. So, Justin, we're so happy to have you. Thank you for joining us and taking the time to do this. And please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Thank you so much. I very much appreciate being here again. Thank you for having me back. Um, my name is Justin Russo. I'm the Director of Programming for the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, and this is Harnessing the Power of Music in Dementia Care. If you've spent time caring for a loved one, then you know how easily music just shows up. At the end of the day, when it's time to relax, in the morning, when you want to get energized, or when you're riding in the car together. These are wonderful moments that you can share with a loved one. But today I'd like to invite you to think about the use of music with therapeutic intent, using music to support someone's quality of life. For older adults, music is a wonderful vehicle for supporting their activities of daily living, improving their overall wellness, and improving their quality of life. And there are just a number of ways that you can use music to support someone. So if you're here today and you're a healthcare practitioner interested in using music as part of your daily care, welcome. If you're a family caregiver and you have a loved one aging in place who you'd like to support with music, this is a great opportunity to grab some resources from today's presentation and learn about some new tools and tricks that'll help you support your loved one. So over the next 45 minutes, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of music engagement for older adults, especially those living with dementia and different types of physical or cognitive challenges. We're going to learn how to use music purposefully to achieve targeted results, not just for relaxation. We're going to go far beyond that into some targeted areas where you can really improve someone's quality of life. We're going to talk about some practical tools that you can take with you, techniques that you can use right after this webinar to integrate music into daily care routines. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how to evaluate the impact of the music engagement, how to know that it's working, and how to keep it up in a sustained way over time. So again, thank you for the introduction. My name is Justin Russo. I'm the Director of Programming for the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function in Mount Vernon, New York, in Westchester. If you're not familiar with the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, that's okay. But maybe you've heard of our flagship program, Music and Memory, which was featured in the movie Alive Inside, the story of music and memory, and actually won a Sundance Award for Best Picture in 2014. So if you've seen Alive Inside, you're probably going to recognize one of the videos I'm going to show today. If not, this will be a great introduction to music and memory and how to use music thoughtfully to support a loved one's quality of life. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a clip from Alive Inside. Again, this is a documentary made about music and memory, one of our programs. This is Henry's story. And the reason I like to start with Henry's story is because it does a wonderful job of showcasing the therapeutic impact of music, specifically its effect on the brain, how listening to favorite songs from a certain point in your life can stimulate cognition and allow you to be more present. Let's take a look.
I have one resident that barely opened her eyes. She didn't respond. As much as I tried, I knew her for 2 years. No matter what I tried, massage wouldn't work, nothing worked. So when we got introduced to the iPods and the family told me the things that she liked, it was amazing once we put the iPod on her. She started shaking her feet. She started moving her head. Her son was just amazed. Okay, can we stop? Because now I'm getting all I'm seeing her all over again.
We really want to learn what music someone's going to really recognize and enjoy.
One of the residents is a resident who likes gospel music. Church was all his life. And I think that we can start with him.
Henry, speak to me. I want to hear your voice. Can you talk to me? So let me hear you. Tell me your full name.
Henry has dementia and he needs total assistance with all his activities of daily living.
Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
Huh?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm fine. Wait.
Who am I?
Huh?
Who am I? I'm your daughter.
Daughter?
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Wait a minute. I got so many. I don't know. God
You
knows.
got so many?
Yes.
Maybe granddaughters.
Well, that's what I mean. Now, this, I don't.
Okay, it's Cherry. How long has he been in the nursing home? Approximately 10 years. It affects me greatly because he was always, fun-loving, singing, every occasion he would come out with a song. I remember as a child, he used to walk us down the street, me and my brother, and he would stop and do Singing in the Rain. He would have us jumping and swinging around poles. He was, he was good. He was always into music, always loved singing, dancing.
You want your music now? Let's try your music, okay? And then you tell me if it's too loud or not, okay?
Music is inseparable from emotion. So it's not just a physiological stimulus. If it works at all, it will call the whole person, the many different parts of their brain and the memories and emotions which go with it.
I supposed to sing with this?
You can if you like. When I first met him, he was very isolated, and he used to always sit on the unit with his head like this. He didn't really talk to much people, and then when I introduced the music to him, this is his reaction ever since.
Henry waking up did something to all of us. Everyone in the room felt it.
The philosopher Kant once called music the quickening art, and Henry is being quickened, he's being brought to life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the music for 1 second, okay? Just to ask you a few questions. Okay?
How awake was he?
I'm gonna give it back to you.
Was he still lost in his dementia? Or had the music in some way changed that?
Henry,
Yeah.
do you like the iPod? Do you like the music you're hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about your music.
Well, I don't have one. I mean,
Ask yes or no questions. Do you like music?
yeah, I'm crazy about music. You play beautiful music, beautiful sound. Beautiful.
Did you play music when you were? Did you like music when you were young?
Yes. I went to big dances and things.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
Well, I guess, Cab Calloway was my #1 band guy I liked. They did the holy, the holly, the hilly, the holy, the milly, the holly. Yeah.
What was your favorite song?
Oh, I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me with plenty of snow, mistletoe, present wrapped around your tree. Ow, Christmas Eve will carry me where that love light beam.
Henry,
Yeah,
what was the favorite part of your life? What was your favorite part of your life?
part of my life. It was part of my life was riding a bicycle, grocery boy.
What did you like about riding a bicycle?
That's where I made my money.
So in some sense, Henry has reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
What does music do to you?
Give me the feeling of love, romance. Figure right now the world need to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music here, beautiful, oh lovely. And I feel the band of love, dream. The Lord came to me, made me holy. I'm a holy man. So he gave me these sounds. I'll just say, I meet you. Let me see. Rosalie, won't you love me? Rosalie, won't you be sweet and kind?
All right, so we'll stop it there. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, that was the Henry clip from the movie Alive Inside. I just love that clip. You know, my favorite part remains when Henry talks about Cab Calloway. I could just listen to him do that all day. He's a wonderful spirit, and what a wonderful example of how music can engage the brain and really activate cognition. This is really happening with Henry. You can see it. What they don't show you in the video is that someone took the time to find songs that triggered memories for Henry, and by triggering the memories, his cognition is boosted. And suddenly he's able to converse and socialize, whereas before he could not. He couldn't even remember his daughter Cherry's name. But then after listening to those favorite songs, he can access deep memory. He can talk about his childhood and some of the favorite moments of his life. He can sing I'll Be Home for Christmas in its entirety. And he does a pretty good job. Just a wonderful guy. Also, I want to point out this movie, or this clip rather, has been viewed over 40 million times around the world. That is an accurate number, 40 million, if you can believe it. It just continues to go viral year on year because it's just an excellent it's demonstration of how music can really boost someone's cognition, someone who's living with dementia, and bring them back. So what songs bring you back? That's what I want to ask in the next slide. And I want you to think about for a second some of the songs that are part of your musical history. You know, I have one, and I'll share it with you. So if you're not familiar with upstate New York, this is the Dutchess County Fair, which is a rather large county fair that occurs every August in Rhinebeck, New York. And my memory is this. So when I was 15 years old, I was allowed to go to this fair without my parents and with my friends for the first time. And this was a huge deal because I'm from a very sheltered Catholic Italian family, and to be able to go out with my friends after dark was huge. So I just have this wonderful memory of walking through the gates of the park with hundreds of other kids and seeing the lights of the rides like you see on the screen. And it was so noisy, and hearing all the rides and smelling all the foods and the 4-H barns, and just walking through it all and just experiencing it all for the first time. And towards the end, there was this ride that was a Viking ship, and the Viking ship was just swinging back and forth, and these kids were screaming on it, and above it all was playing the song Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, which is a funny rock song from the early 90s. I'm dating myself a little bit. But to this day, when I hear Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, I'm right back at that park, 15 years old again, some 35 years ago. I'm walking through those gates, and my life is opening up for the first time. I feel like I've arrived, because that's what it felt like then. And it's a warm and wonderful memory that I can return to any time. And there's a very specific reason I can return to it. And it's because it's stored in my brain for all time. And we know from studies that this happens to all of us. The music that we fall in love with when we're teenagers embeds itself in every single part of our brains, every single part, and especially the parts that are the last to be touched by dementia. So the music that I listened to from 1987 to 1999, roughly ages 12 to 25, just embedded itself in all these different long-term areas of my brain, and I've carried it with me ever since. And so have you. All the songs that you listen to at that age are still with you. They're a part of your physiology. They're a part of your brain. And it'll be with you your whole life. It's a part of your musical mojo. It's a part of who you are. It's a part of your humanity. And that's a beautiful thing when you think about it, that we all carry these things with us. And so too did Henry. And we're able to trigger cognition for people living with dementia by using those same songs. Using those songs, those special songs that trigger memories as an external stimuli, we're able to initiate sequences in the brain that that person can't do on their own. And this, of course, has to do with neuroplasticity, or rather the degree to which our brain can respond to external stimuli. It's very high at this point in our lives. And the music is embedded in itself in all these different parts of our brain because it's mostly at this age emotional memory, right? We know now through studies that emotional memory endures, where other types of memory simply doesn't. Emotional memory is where you get that cascading emotional effect. Have you ever smelled something and then just have been hit with all these memories, like you smell suntan lotion and then you're back at the beach, or things like that? Or you hear a song and you're getting flooded with all these different memories. That's because with emotional memory, it tends to cascade. When you trigger one memory that's been embedded emotionally in your brain, it makes it easier to facilitate the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And it tends to have a snowball effect. So suddenly, you'll just be back in time. And that's why it feels that way. And when you have dementia, you can go from being distant to present in just a very short amount of time. And that's what you see happening to Henry. Now, I like to show this graphic. This is from a study that was done in the Times some years ago. The author was trying to figure out, what is it about the teenage years that are so important? And so they went to Spotify, one of today's streaming music giants, right? We've all heard of Spotify. And they studied aggregate user data in Spotify, and sure enough, all of us predictably returned to the music that captured us during our adolescence. As you can see on the screen, this is the years of peak influence, 13 and 14. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a song in your 30s make an imprint on your brain. Of course, that's true, but it's most likely to happen and most likely to stay permanent throughout your life at this point in our lives. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, this has vast implications for supporting people with dementia, because you can use these memory triggering songs to boost someone's cognition. We know that when you do that, it doesn't last forever, right? So what you saw in the Henry video, where Henry was suddenly present and could talk about his childhood and could answer questions and recognize his name and the care that was being given to him, that doesn't last. When you trigger the brain that way, it doesn't last. It lasts about 45 minutes to 2 hours, just depending on where that person is in the dementia or in the aging journey, right? But during that window of opportunity, you can support specific activities of daily living, because during that window of time, they're going to be more present. They're going to be able to converse. They're going to be able to recognize family members' names. They're going to be better able to understand the environment that they're in. Say they go to a medical appointment, right? My grandfather, God rest his soul, never liked going to the VA hospital. That was, when we had to do that once a week, that was his least favorite activity. But music helped get him there, because we would play the music, and that would boost his cognition, and that would allow him to get through the transition to the medical appointment. You know, and if you think about it, that can be very overwhelming because it's very difficult for older adults with dementia to generalize, right? To take information from one setting and then adopt it into a new setting. And so it can be, moving between settings can be easily overwhelming and very stressful for people with dementia for that reason. So, but if you can boost their cognition through music-triggered memories, they'll be more aware of what's going on during that transition. If they're in a noisy waiting room, they'll be okay because they'll be in that immersive headphone environment, right? Where their cognition is boosted. They'll be better able to understand what's happening. Okay, I'm supposed to go here. I'm supposed to sit here and wait. I'm here for dialysis. That's what I'm here for. And they'll be able to get through those sessions. And these are all the different activities that you can boost in that way. You can support someone's nutrition. You can help alleviate anxiety. You can help avoid sundowning episodes. It's wonderful for sleep, general mood and depression. It's wonderful for any kind of therapy. If you're working with someone or you have a loved one who needs to go to any kind of therapy, it's wonderful for helping them focus throughout the entire therapy session. And it's wonderful for helping them get through the entirety of the session because they're more likely to do that after listening to a playlist. So I want to show you a pretty new video. This came out maybe 4 or 5 months ago. This was made on the Institute's campus in Westchester, New York. And it showcases how to use music for therapeutic value, how to use it with therapeutic intent to achieve some outcomes just like the ones I've talked about. Now, before I show the video, I just want to predicate by saying all of these outcomes come from using the music in advance of the activity you're trying to support. Let's take a look.
So what separates using music as an intervention tool versus for entertainment or for relaxation is you can achieve specific outcomes. When you boost someone's cognition through music-triggered memories,
we can use music of personal importance to help not only stimulate areas of the brain that is still available and functional, but enhance the stimulation of those areas so the person is able to constantly recall and constantly connect.
Just seeing how music awakens these areas of the brain, how music can connect and bring people together is amazing.
Overall, it's a great non-pharmacological approach for any type of clinical care, but it also improves their quality of life with minimal invasiveness.
So one of the important things to remember is to always use the music consistently. A consistent application of the music will yield the best results.
If that person is engaged consistently using music that is meaningful to them, that is targeted in a specific way, that has a therapeutic intent, therapeutic purpose, that skills are improved and the person does change. If a person has sleep disturbances or agitation or wandering, we know that personalized music and music that allows that person to feel comforted and safe actually allows them to sleep and have less instances of agitation.
A lot of times if you put some soothing music on, it just helps them to transition into going into sleep, you know, getting ready for bed, and it changes them, their moods.
So if you're doing this for the first time, it's important to remember to use the music proactively in advance of any activity you're trying to support. For example, if you're trying to support someone's nutrition, if you're trying to help them maintain a healthy weight, what you can do is play the music about 30 minutes before meal times. And what that will do is it will boost their cognition, and that allows them to chew, to recognize food, in some cases even swallow.
Not only are they aware that it's mealtime, But if a CNA needs to assist them in eating, that they're able to engage in that. In fact, we've seen from nutrition studies that the person actually eats more and does better.
And again, all this comes from triggering the brain in advance of the activity you're trying to support.
When music is used consistently and purposefully, that we can impact the ease at which a CNA can care for somebody, so the person is more relaxed. There's a connection that's made, and that CNA is not a threat to the individual. They're actually a partner and a friend.
Seeing how music can change the mood of a room, seeing how excited they are to be with me musically is more than I could ask for.
You did it. Yeah, you did it. You're always singing. That's just a beautiful thing. Oh, Jane.
What a gorgeous day. It makes me want to sing. Really? Oh, what a beautiful morning. You have such a beautiful voice. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so good. More better. Okay. Thank you.
Music reduces anxiety, it improves the cognition and the ability for somebody to do something that they might have forgotten, their mind might have forgotten how to do so. And being able to provide them with music that stimulates their memory and brings them calm and brings them ease. It really helps them to feel that comfort in what could be a very gray and dark day for them and brings them light.
If you're a caregiver at home, think of music as a tool that you can use anytime to support your loved one's quality of life. Creating moments of relaxation, not just for your loved one, but for caregivers too. Music is a wonderful respite tool.
We encourage caregivers to find ways of using personalized music in those moments where they really need to have peace for themselves.
It's a great opportunity for you to get things done because they'll be engaged, they'll be enjoying the music, and they'll be better able to recognize cues from you and the care that you're giving them.
When we put music on, everybody comes alive. People start dancing. It just brings such joy to everybody.
Music is just universal. Even if you don't speak the language of the music, it moves you.
It puts me in the mood. It makes you feel good in your soul.
You see people join together and how that really shapes a community so that people trust each other and they can continue to build this relationship for many years to come.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Again, all this comes from triggering the brain in advance of the activity you're trying to support. So just to recap, we know that there are certain songs for every person that during their formative years, their teenage years, become embedded in the brain. And later on, when they're an older adult, you can trigger their cognition and support their quality of life by playing music, those specific songs, in advance of whatever activity you're trying to support. So if you're going to be going for a walk together and you want it to be more impactful for them, you want them to be able to transition between environments, you can play the music beforehand. If you want to boost nutrition, if you're trying to help someone keep weight on, you could play the music before mealtime, and that will help them eat more. If someone tends to sundown, which is extreme agitation in the afternoons around 4 o'clock, if you play the music at 3:30 in advance of that, you can usually avoid that episode. So the hallmarks here of success are using the music consistently and proactively, and you'll have great success just by using the tool in that way. Now you might be asking, how do I find these songs? This is a process we call becoming a music detective. So if you're new to this process, think of it as a series of conversations, maybe 2 to 3 30-minute conversations together where you're sampling songs and asking questions about what they like, trying to hone in on those 15 songs, 20 songs that really trigger memories, right? We have a questionnaire that you can use, which I don't have it pictured here, but we do share it as one of the resources that you're welcome to take with you. It's our music assessment questionnaire. It asks questions like, what was your wedding song? Did you go to church and sing in the choir? Did you go to dances? What radio station do you remember listening to? Most people during this period were listening to radio stations. That's how they were consuming music. So if you don't know much about their musical history, you can figure out when they were 15 years old approximately and where they're from, and try and isolate maybe what radio station they listen to, or just try and what genres of music they like. You can ask to look through their record collection. You can also speak with family members and friends who might remember some of the music that they enjoyed. Anything that will help you solve the musical favorites mystery. Again, the goal is to achieve about 15 to 20 songs that trigger memories. We also believe it's very important to track response. And this is not just for clinical workers, doing this as part of their practice or part of their work at a senior care site, but also for family caregivers who really want to understand how this is working for their loved one. You can track changes in weight and pain medication, pain levels, reported chronic pain. You can track distress. You can track mood. We have a form here that you can use, but you don't need to use it. Anything that you can do to just keep tabs on how the music is working, as this will inform not only how well it works, but the music that you've selected, the time of day that you're offering it for, what activities you're offering it to support, and things like that. So we definitely advocate for keeping track of how the music is working. Now we know a lot of studies have been done on the effects of music for older adults. There are many studies out there. I'm going to show you a few in a minute. But studies are now finally catching up and realizing that the music offered to someone else also has a positive impact on the people offering it. And that's where I kind of want to zoom in on that for a second and just focus on that for frontline care staff and practitioners using music as a tool for engagement with therapeutic intent. It can definitely make a difference for you as well. And this is significant because, we know it can have an effect on overall job satisfaction, on burnout rates, and it tends to give a renewed sense of purpose for the people offering the music. And that's key, because this is a tough job. And if you're here today and you're a senior care practitioner, we definitely understand how hard it is to stay connected with someone who's living with dementia or cognitive loss. There aren't a lot of ways, especially if they have advanced dementia, to connect with them and to provide them with comfort and joy in a dignified, person-centered way. So this tool really works. So to be able to give staff a tool that works is really impactful. And this is just one of those things that can definitely work. So finally, studies are starting to catch up that this is having an effect on staff, and we hope to see that continue. We also know that this is wonderful for family caregivers, not just for the reasons described, but because it can give you a break. And we know that for family caregivers, we know that this is a really tough job. I know this from personal experience and from professional experience. This is a really difficult thing to do, to support a loved one for the months, years that it sometimes takes. And you don't get a break often, and often it falls to one key family member to do the bulk of the work. And for those people, having extra tools to be able to take a break, I think is critical. And music is one of those tools because it helps you to just get some time for yourself. While your loved one is engaged with the music, you can take a break. Look the other way for a second, you know. My mom is always worried that my dad's going to fall. And it's just, she can't mentally disconnect from it day after day unless one of us is there to give her a break. But music can serve that purpose too. It can help them focus on themselves. And even just 20 minutes can make a difference in helping them get through a day. And so it's really valuable for family caregivers. And spending time together is part of the gift for the participant too. You know, I like to focus in on this as well. You know, we always say this is the gift that gives twice because on the one hand, you're supporting activities of daily living. You're making a huge therapeutic impact that's clinically observable as part of a person's care plan. But you've also taken the time to get to know them on a very fundamental level. I mean, there's no, talk about person-centered. There's no better way to get in touch with someone and get to know them than the music that they love. I mean, just watching the Henry video, I feel like I know Henry more because of just watching his reaction to the different types of music and the way it's influenced his life. So if you're interested in person-centered care, I always say try music engagement of any type, because you're going to find it's one of the most person-centered things that you can do. So I'm going to try and share a new video. I hope that's okay. And I hope that it works. Let's take a look. Can everyone see the new video up on my screen? It's the power of singing for memory and connection. Can you see that, Evelyn?
No.
No. Okay. Forgive me for a minute, folks. All right. Now can you see it? Let me know if that doesn't show up.
It says the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, the power of singing for memory and connection.
Thank you, Evelyn. We're there. All right, enjoy, everybody. Okay, is nobody getting the sound?
No audio.
Nope.
No, okay. Sorry, everybody. Not sure what's going on.
Looks fun.
Looks fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. That didn't work out. We'll have to return to that another time. But I'll share the video in the chat and make sure you all get your hands on it. Okay. So sorry, everybody.
Still looked good.
You're very sweet. Okay, I'm having some issues here. I'm going to have to start and stop again. I apologize.
You're doing great, as always.
Thank you, Evelyn. All right. Okay. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show a different video. So this is a video about the power of music engagement on the home front. So again, if you're a family caregiver here today and you're interested in using this as a therapeutic tool to support your loved one, this video really outlines a couple of strategic ways to go about it and some of the benefits. So without further ado, let's take a look.
Personalized music is a profound gift for families at home with their relative with Alzheimer's or dementia. To see their relative come to life. There is a reawakening.
The music program has been a great thing for me and for James. Like a glow, a happiness.
It's a tool to create joy. It's something that both of you can engage in and create a safe and secure moment in time.
Music and memory. It's afforded me a luxury, helping me with my wife. She puts the headphones on, she's more mellow, she's sitting down, she's humming with the songs. It's emotional.
Music and memory at home is a valuable tool for caregivers that will enable you to stay at home and function as independently as possible.
Oh, you were hungry.
Fostering independence is the most important part for these families. Not only do I feel fortunate that we have become certified in music and memory and to be able to do it in the center, but be able to offer this experience to caregivers trying to keep an individual in their home rather than placing them in a facility.
Oh, you want to take your coat off?
Yeah.
We want them to have the best quality of life that they can.
He's more contented and, like I said, more calm. He'll start a conversation.
Oh yeah, here we got it.
He's more aware of his environment.
Most people would prefer to remain in their own home in a familiar environment with things that they know and love around them.
It could be something as simple as a picture on a wall.
Wow, I'm surprised with all these things.
Music and memory is wonderful medicine. Medicine without a pill. In the brain, music can bypass so many different things.
Here, Tom.
The brain is able to follow commands.
Got it?
Yeah.
The body is able to do things that normally with dementia they wouldn't be able to do.
Come on, let's go.
What?
Let's go. We're going this way.
Any caregiver out there who needs a little bit extra help in any way, it's a great tool. The music helps him a lot in public to help calm him down. Sometimes walking is a little funky, but even his walking was great.
Music and memory makes it a lot easier for the caregiver at home with eating, dressing, sleeping, showering.
We're going to go in the kitchen, okay? Yeah, good.
The music is awesome.
Okay, Tata.
I could put him at the table with the earphones on. Music will keep him more engaged, and I can go do stuff around the house.
Families who use the music and memory program are able to get a little break, which gives them more time to attend to their own needs.
Have a seat. With music and memory, I can be more relaxed. I'm just going to clean up some things here, okay? I can do chores around the house and not have to worry about her. She can even sit with me and listen to the music while she's got the headphones on.
What's the song?
To love.
Mm-hmm. Will you still love me tomorrow?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Mm-hmm. Will you still love me tomorrow? Shooby-doo, shooby-doo. Before music, it was difficult to leave James alone. You okay? You comfortable?
Yeah, I'm okay.
But now I know he's okay because he's enjoying the music, right?
Personalized music connects us to that essential sense of our being.
With the music, I think it gives him a self-being that he's contributing to himself. He has more humor now.
What happened? What'd I do?
You feel like he's a person.
The music is really helping her and me and just having a decent relationship.
You are my husband.
Yes, I am your husband.
All right, Elvis.
She took care of me for close to 40 years. Now it's my turn.
Music makes him really more Walter. I mean, Walter emerges when the music goes on. It's made a difference in my life, in his life, in our life.
I hope you enjoyed that. That was made with our partner, Caring Kind in New York City, focusing again on just the benefits for family caregivers. This was mostly filmed in Long Island, New York. And just, I love some of the quotes in that video. Especially in the end, my Walter shows up when the music is on. I really like that, and I think that really says it all. So I want to show you just really quickly some of the research around this. So really just to underscore the effectiveness of this approach. So this is a study that was done in 2020. I think this was over 4,000 residents in 250 California nursing homes. So pretty big study. And this is per quarter for people with dementia. And look at these amazing results. Use of antipsychotic and anti-anxiety medications down significantly. Depressive symptoms down. Reported chronic pain down. Distress behaviors, I like pointing this out, down by 20%. That's pretty amazing when you consider how easily distress can compound and become and worsen the longer you let it linger. So if you can reduce that number, that's very significant for quality of care. The number of days on medications declined by 30%. So, and this is for nursing homes, but we've seen similar studies in other senior care settings as well, assisted living, hospice, and they're all relatively similar. Generally speaking, about a 90% positive observable result. For participants in one way, shape, or form. It's going to improve their quality of life. So we know that this works, and we know also that there's been a lot of success in the use of this approach, and I hope that you'll consider it. To date, over 6,000 sites have been certified to use this methodology. When we're proud to say that thanks to state government leaders around the country, 29 states have also made this part of policy, which is to say that they highly recommend it, or in some cases mandate it for senior care, because we've all seen the evidence. And on a statewide level, we've seen massive reductions in antipsychotic medication as well. Several states are leading the charge. I think Texas especially has reduced antipsychotic rates by some 54%. So that's pretty significant when you think about it. And I know now with today's federal administration, there's now another big push to get away from antipsychotics. So we hope to see more people adopt this as a non-pharmacological alternative because it really works. But how do we make that change? How do we make sure this becomes a universal part of senior care? We're still not there. I think part of the reason is there just aren't enough people doing this. Here in 2026, there are still only 11,000 board-certified music therapists in the United States. Can you believe that? And yet there are millions of people in residential care with some type of need for this. And there are millions more aging in place in their homes. So at the Institute, our goal is to meet that need by training frontline care staff. We know that there are just not going to be enough music therapists. There just aren't enough. So we focus our training on, for not just music and memory, but our other trainings as well, on giving tools to the staff that support seniors directly, to CNAs, to nurses, to activities directors, therapeutic recreation specialists, to make sure that they have these tools because they're the ones working directly with older adults. That's part of our mission. And again, it's to create scalable models of music therapy and to maximize the impact and get it into the hands of as many people as possible. So this study came out, I think, 4 months ago, and I just wanted to share it. This is about prevention, and I thought you'd like to see it. This made the rounds, I think, on every news channel a couple of months ago. So listening to music after the age of 70 can cut your dementia risk by nearly 40%, which is a pretty amazing statistic when you think about it. So you can actually ward off dementia by regularly listening to music. So again, if you're a practitioner, if you're supporting a loved one, it's never too soon to to begin the process of using music with therapeutic intent. It's never too soon to start listening to your favorite musical playlist and to have those conversations with a loved one about the music that they love. I've been talking to my parents about the music they love forever. So, in anticipation of this, because I know that at a certain point it's going to be really valuable. And look at this third bullet. I just put, or second bullet rather, a shout out to anyone who plays an instrument out there. You get an additional benefit of reduced risk by some 35% for if you play an instrument. So something to keep in mind. And we're finally starting to see a business case forming for this in senior care. As I mentioned, adoption of this in residential care continues to be slow, despite the impact of many studies. But we're finally starting to see some return on investment, some ROI, as the business community likes to say. So we've learned through studies just this year that for every dollar invested in music therapy and music engagement in senior residential care, that you get a $2.40 return. So that's pretty significant to finally see that quantified. We've known about this anecdotally for years, but now to see it finally emerge in studies is really wonderful for us who've been pushing this for so many years to finally see it's starting to emerge that yes, there is a business case for music engagement. This has a lot to do with the downstream costs. If you improve someone's quality of life, if you lower their risk for depression, there's just going to be few visits to the ER. There are going to be fewer hospitalizations. There are going to be fewer falls, right? Like we've been talking about this whole time. If you use music in advance of any activity you're trying to support, you're going to avoid these episodes of distress. You're going to help avoid episodes of anxiety or depression. You're going to help reduce rejection of care. So, and all of these have a cost. So if you can get ahead of all that stuff with music, you can also, the company will save money as well. And I think that's for any administrators here today, considering the use of music for therapeutic intent, that's an important consideration. So finally, I want to leave you with some resources. If you're here today and you are interested in using this approach of therapeutic playlist, please, by all means, we have a free playlist available. Just go to musicandmemory.org/playlist. We've also got a number of success stories up on our website, musicandmemory.org/stories. And of course, you can call me anytime. This is a real phone number. We pick up the phone. No phone trees, folks. We will pick up the phone. Or you can leave us a message and we'll get back to you that day. You can also email us, and we try to get back to you within 24 hours during the week to answer your questions. We have free support for family caregivers who are interested in using this process, and I hope that you are. So I hope this was beneficial for you folks today. Thanks so much for having me. And now for the remainder of the hour, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And if it's okay, I'm going to go off share. Hello. Feel free to unmute or post your questions in the chat box, and we'll go from there.
We have a lot of chats in the chat box.
Okay, all right.
I'm not going to be able to stay. I don't know if you have time to stay for all of them, and maybe Minerva, can help out with that.
Sure, I'll stay for as many as I can.
Wow, great. Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank you for doing such a wonderful job getting people all ginned up.
My pleasure.
Yes. And I'd like to thank the WellMed Charitable Foundation for finding experts to talk to us. And this was truly great. And with that, Minerva, would you mind taking over during the chat?
I do not mind taking over. Just be mindful I will not have my camera on. Okay, so the first comment we have is from Stephen. He says, I have been studying all things dementia for 4 years since my wife's diagnosis. I've heard about music being an aid, but nothing as amazing as this. You showed us magical changes in people's souls. Your work message needs to get out to the dementia community more and more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I hope you use the tool to support your loved one. Feel free to contact me directly if you need to, or if you have any questions at all about our process.
The next question is from Emery, which tied to the same one I posted. What is the purpose of the headphones? Are headphones necessary? And what I asked was, is it better to use headphones for our loved ones, or can we just use the speakers?
Great question. You can use either. Headphones will create a more immersive environment and do a better job of replicating that original studio recording, which is what you need to trigger the memory, right? You want them to hear what they heard then as accurately as possible. But if someone goes into distress with the wired headphones, right, as is often the case for people with dementia, or if there's too much ear pressure from Bluetooth headphones, a Bluetooth speaker will work just fine, provided you minimize distractions in the room. This is not a group activity. You want the focus to be on the music and the triggered memories, but you can certainly do that with a speaker if you need to.
Okay. Leanne, I see that you are unmuted. Go ahead.
A couple of things. I don't want to take up too much time, but when my husband and I first met almost 50 years ago, one of the things he was doing was making his own audio recordings, mainly of 50s and 60s music. So you're pushing on a swinging door with me and the music, okay? All right. So we regularly, just in our house, he plays music often. So this gives me so many ideas. This is just amazing to me. And one of the things I wondered, because I feel like my husband will end up in a place a few years from now, let's say, how would the staff there find out about staff trainings that you're talking about?
Great question. So, all our information is on our website. We do outreach, so we do try to reach out to homes regularly. But if they haven't heard from us, feel free to pass along our URL, and we're happy to work with them. You can work with your husband now with a playlist, and then when he eventually transitions to care, you can say this is his playlist. It's from musicandmemory.org, and most practitioners are familiar with the program at this point. So, Leanne, I also wanted to make you aware of an additional tool since you're already familiar with this one. I didn't get a chance to show our singing video, but I just put the link in the chat, and this is for everybody. Check out the link I just put in the chat for our singing video. This is the video I wanted to show you, but I couldn't get it to work, sorry. But the link is there. Singing is a wonderful complement to a playlist, and it really shows how to maximize the value of a personalized music playlist by singing along. And you don't need any special skills. You don't need to be a trained singer to do this, but just watch the video and check it out, and you'll get some extra tips for how to use singing to complement this work. Thank you, Leanne, for your questions, and good luck.
Thank you for that. Another question is for an organization, I'm assuming there's a charge for them.
Generally speaking, yes. We do charge for our training services. I should also add that Music and Memory does not provide equipment. We just do the training. When we do a tiered pricing system so that smaller nonprofit organizations can still participate, and we regularly offer discounts. For example, in June for Alzheimer's Awareness Month, we're offering 50% off of all of our training services. So June is a good time to take advantage of Music and Memory training if you're interested.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions while we still have time? And I did start the poll, so if you haven't done so already, please answer that, because that gives us a heads up of what your thoughts are on our presentations and if there's anything you're looking forward to in the future. Okay, I don't see anything. Okay.
I have one more. I'm not sure if I missed it or not, but what are the best resources for finding a playlist?
Well, playlist is something that's unique to everyone, so we can provide you with the process, but not the playlist. And we have a free guide which outlines our process at musicandmemory.org/playlist. Or you could just go to musicandmemory.org and look at our homepage, and there's a quick link right there for a free guide on how to create a playlist for a loved one or someone that you're supporting. And you can use any equipment that you have handy, a radio, a CD player, a laptop, It doesn't have to be anything specific, just however that person is used to listening to music, provided you can make them a playlist in that way. That's perfectly fine. And of course, you can always contact us at info@musicandmemory.org, and we'll walk you through the process with whatever equipment you have.
And something I would like to add, you can always go to your local library and they have recordings, videos, vinyl, whichever you can take out, and that'll also help you build up your music variety, vault, for lack of better words.
Well said.
I from the generation of Napster, and I miss my Napster. So if no one else has any other questions, Justin, thank you so much for your presentation. Any last words you would like to leave for our participants?
Certainly. I just wanted to touch on what you mentioned about libraries. They do have a lot of music. Some libraries, the larger systems, also offer free streaming from a company called Freegal. So if you're interested in that, go to your local library and ask if they're participating in Freegal, so you can stream music for free. It's a great way to make a playlist. And of course, if anyone has any questions at all, just feel free to contact me directly. Our support is free for family caregivers and practitioners alike. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Justin. And I want to say thank you to the Wilma Charitable Foundation for providing these programs for us all to participate and enjoy. The session is being recorded, and I will have it posted on our website later on today, if not by tomorrow. We do have one final teleconnection session for the month of May, and that is going to be on May 27th. Magnificent 7 Essential Legal Forms, something that we take for granted and always leave for the end. So with that, I want to say thank you and hope to see you on our next one. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.